Lunch and Learn event. I just wanted to reiterate what Delia had up on the screen. At the end of this session, we are going to be holding a drawing for $250 worth of gift cards. So please, if you can, go ahead and put your full name on your, enter your full name on your Zoom so that we can enter you in the drawing. Okay, my name is Kristen Brandt, and it is my pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Stephanie Walker. Stephanie is CEB's interim head of product. In that capacity, she works on the development and management of digital products and solutions for California attorneys. Prior to joining CEB, she had a general civil litigation practice representing clients in a variety of cases, including general, commercial, and business litigation, insurance defense, products and premises liability, intellectual property, real property, and more. Stephanie received her BA from UCLA and her JD from the University of San Francisco School of Law. And today's topic that Stephanie will be hosting is CEB Practitioner behind the scenes of legal research product development. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in chat, and at the end we'll be having a Q&A. Stephanie?
Kristen, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining me. I know sometimes when I'm in these all-day web events, sometimes I want an actual non-Zoom lunch break. So I really appreciate everyone spending this part of their day with me. Let me go ahead and bring my screen up. Okay, so Kristen just did a lovely introduction, but as she said, I am the head of product at CEB. And before we get started, I just wanted to thank NoCal and thank Delia for giving me this opportunity. I'm really happy to be here with you. I know many of you are probably more familiar with some of my colleagues, Kathy and Suzanne and Sahar, who all say hello. They have nothing but nice things to say about this group. So really what I'd like to do today is talk about product development, because you all have seen, I'm sure, many, many product demos, but I kind of wanted to come at it from the angle of product management in the legal research space. As Kristen mentioned, I am a lawyer turned product manager. I spent a little less than 8 years with a general civil litigation practice. And obviously having a legal background is really, really helpful when you're building and managing and developing tools and online solutions for lawyers and other legal professionals. And so I thought I would give you a brief overview of what product managers in the legal research industry do, how we think about things, and how the work and the research that we do translates into that finished product that you end up seeing. And in this particular case, the finished product in question is CEB Practitioner. And what is Practitioner? It is a California-specific legal know-how and workflow tool aimed at specifically helping California litigators, but even more specifically, solo and small firm attorneys and new attorneys in California. That's not to say that this couldn't have a lot of utility and helpfulness to people not in those groups, but solos, small firm California attorneys, new grads in California, that's who we had in mind when we developed and built this. Practitioner offers how-to guides, strategy notes, charts, checklists, and annotated documents, all organized into workflows so that you can complete tasks quickly and accurately for your clients while planning for what comes next and looking ahead at the future. And CEB is a California-specific legal information provider, so it's always really important to us that we have that depth of California content. So we included county and district court-specific procedural guidance. Obviously, this is the kind of thing that you can see how it would be very useful to new lawyers who are just starting out. But before we get into the actual product and product demo portion of this Lunch and Learn, I want to talk a little bit more about product development. And product development always starts with the customer. Who are they? what problems do they have and what problems can you solve for them? So you really have to really empathize and think about the customer and meet them where they are. And who is the customer? This might not be a picture of what you generally think of as lawyers in California, but I assure you that it is. This is actually a photograph of me and some of my closest girlfriends from law school in a pool in Costa Rica, approximately a week after we took the bar exam. And I am showing you this picture not to torture us all with the international travel that we probably can't take yet, even though I would really love to be in a pool in Costa Rica in the near future. But to kind of try and make it concrete for you of where new lawyers are and who they are and what they need. The ladies in this pool, including myself, have no idea what they're getting into. They're a week out from the bar exam and they just have no idea what it's like to be a day-to-day practicing attorney in California, despite the incredibly useful internships and clerkships and experience that I got in the course of law school. That really doesn't tell you what it's like to be at a firm day to day, to figure out all those business related tasks and networking, and also just, how to take those individual assignments that you were given as a clerk or an intern and turn it into managing an entire case from start to finish. So thank you. I do like this pic. As a side note, I used to have this picture in a frame on my desk. It was my happy place picture when I needed to escape from work. So I'm very fond of it. But so it's that learning how to actually be a lawyer and how to stitch all those individual tasks and assignments into the entire workflow of doing a good job for your client and getting a good result. So when we first started developing the concept of practitioner, we had to start with the customer. And we had several hypotheses in mind about the needs of solo and small firm attorneys in California. And as it turns out, the needs of solo and small firm attorneys overlap somewhat with the needs of new attorneys in general. So when you think about solo and small firm attorneys, this is what we posited. And none of this is rocket science, but we posited there's too much time spent on administrative tasks and research, not enough time in the day for actual billable work, which is especially important if you've hung your shingle somewhere. There's not enough California specific content, meaning California is an incredibly complex legal jurisdiction, and it's sometimes difficult to get the depth of coverage and the nuance that you need in your specific practice area. We also thought that most attorneys, and this is specifically talking about litigators, practiced in 3 or more counties on a regular basis. So they're balancing different standing orders, different judges' preferences, different local rules, and switching back and forth between matters and counties on a regular basis. They're competing against larger law firms with more resources. For new lawyers, they're transitioning from learning about the law to actually the day-to-day practice of law. They're figuring out, and it's brand new every time, how to complete those basic tasks quickly and efficiently, and they're understanding how each small task fits into the big picture. So we started to see some common themes jumping out at us about just the need for efficiency, the need for specificity, the need for local and California specific guidance, whether you're giving yourself a brief refresher or whether you're teaching yourself from scratch. So then we had to vet our hypotheses and find out whether we were right or not. And we did that by doing a lot of survey work and some fairly in-depth customer interviews. And we did figure out that we were pretty on point with our hypotheses, but we also got some key takeaways. Over and over and over again, we kept hearing about the high importance of applying civil procedural guidance to the specific context of California law. Yes, everyone knows how to look at the California state rules of court. They know how to look at the local rules. They know how to look up the judge's standing orders, but it's time consuming, especially when you're in multiple counties. And then you have to take that and adapt it to the specific context of your type of legal matter. And it sucked up a lot of time. We learned that there was a prevalence of removal to federal court, and a lot of people needed federal guidance. CEB is traditionally a California specific content provider. So we had to start thinking about how do we add that federal procedural guidance in a useful and meaningful way. There is a very strong desire for staying up to date on the latest court opinions and the latest rulings. And there is this desire for expert insight, those context clues that tell you not only how another attorney did a certain motion or a certain document, but why they did things the way that they did and what was the strategy behind the decisions they made, so that you can take those context clues and adapt it to your own matter. And then we learned that the tried and true favorites are still the tried and true favorites. The most popular resource type was still practice guides. People love their practice guides and their secondary sources, and especially when you need that more long form, in-depth analysis and the additional detail and nuance. But in addition to the practice guides, people wanted more short form know-how and practical guidance, that expert insight information, annotated forms and charts and checklists, those quick reference tools that let you just give a quick reminder or let yourself check your work so you can get tasks done quickly and efficiently. So now that we've kind of zeroed in on what were the needs, what were the pain points, what did the people in this demographic really look for and want, we had to take these kind of general insights and really think about, well, how does that translate into the actual day-to-day work? And what are the specific use cases of how do these problems pop up in the course of an actual attorney's practice? So here are some sample use cases that are much more specific. Someone might be a very experienced trust and probate litigator, but they mostly spend their time in LA and Orange County, but now they have this matter in Riverside. So they need quick practical guidance on the local probate rules in Riverside when they're used to spending their time in other counties. I'm a new lawyer, and there are so many motions and procedures and documents that I just have not come across yet, and I need help. I need that step-by-step guidance so I can be confident I'm not missing an important detail. I'm an employment litigator, but I've done a ton of wage and hour lawsuits, but never specifically any PAGA work. But that area is booming right now, so I want to pick up more PAGA litigation. My partner has good forms, but I want to check them against something a little bit more on point. I'm a solo without any support staff to copy, edit, or format my work. I'm always worried I'm going to inadvertently forget something. So I need those quick reference tools, those charts and checklists to help me complete each task without wasting time and give me the context of what comes next. So as busy as I am, I can plan ahead. So in product management, you get all these insights and you have to really master the voice of the customer. And the goal is to get a really good understanding of how does this work in practice? What are the needs? What are the problems? What are the pain points? And then to take all these insights and actually transform it into design and an ultimate product that you think will help people solve the problems that you've uncovered. So the way we did that is with Practitioner. So let me give you a glimpse of what this ended up looking like in the finished product. All right, so this is our Practitioner home screen. And as you can see, it's a basic, very clean, very uncluttered topical outline. And as I mentioned before, we started off by covering litigation topics. And as you scroll down the list, you can see what are the major subtopics and categories of information that we cover in each area. And that's the browse entry. Obviously, if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can go straight to the search bar. So let's just say that I have to bring in someone else to help me with this matter from out of state, and I need to do a pro hoc vice application, which I have never done before. The search supports both Boolean and natural language. And you can see there that you get some nice search results. This is a pretty manageable list of search results. If I wanted to, I could limit it down to just standard documents. But this top document looks like what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to click into the verified application and see what that looks like. So here you've got an introduction explaining the document. Where appropriate, there are links into the long form secondary sources material so you can get that additional procedural guidance and nuance. You've got a document outline, especially useful in long form, so you can jump directly to the section of the document you want. I just want language on the actual application. What language should I use? So I'm going to skip to that part of the document. And there I see actual text and sample language that I can use and adapt, and also annotations in the form of CEB guidance comments to tell me how and when and why to use and adapt this language. And as I scroll down, I can see that where appropriate, there are alternate clauses giving me good options of different ways to approach this based on my own situation and the fact pattern. And again, where appropriate, links into the secondary, links into primary law. And I'll go over the other resources that are included in a practitioner subscription a little later on. And then finally, if I decide this is a form I really want and I want to use this, I have the option to download this, and I can either download it with or without comments, get it in Word, and keep working. But now let me show you the browse view and the workflows, which we're pretty excited about. So let's say I'm a trust and estate lawyer and I do a lot of trust and probate litigation. So, sorry, I left that from earlier. So when I click into trust and probate litigation, I get this topical overview of all of the information that's covered. And I get breadcrumbs back to where I came from. And there are even more specific subcategories for the types of disputes and the types of matters I might be involved in. So I can either start browsing further, or I can look at all of the information that's tagged trust and probate litigation. If I scroll down the page, I get to these tabs where I can search through all of the documents by resource type. So you can see how-to guides, strategy notes, charts and checklists, and standard documents. So for the sake of argument, let's say I'm dealing with a medical negligence claim. So I'm going to click into this cause of action checklist and see that it is an outline of all of the major issues and factors that I should take into account if I'm managing a matter that deals with a medical negligence claim. And here I've got the outline. So maybe I'm specifically interested in standing requirements. So I can have a quick checklist so I can run down the list of standing, put that issue to bed. The other issue I have is dealing with statutes of limitations. I want to check that. Got another checklist where I can look at all of the appropriate statutes of limitation. And finally, I want to make sure that I'm taking into account all of the appropriate remedies. So I can run down that checklist really quickly and easily and figure out what are all the remedies I should at least consider and think about asking for. Now, if I go back to the page where I came, you probably noticed that I scrolled past these workflows. And these workflows are really those topical outlines that are so important to practicing attorneys who don't have enough time in the day to get their work done. So let's look at the forcing the fiduciary to account. If that's the kind of matter that I'm concerned with, what I get is a basic chronology of the major phases of work that come into play for this type of matter. Everything from client intake and retention and onboarding through obtaining approval of settlement. And all of the documents that are relevant to this particular type of matter are organized in this chronology, giving me an idea of roughly how long each phase should take. So I can open up each topic and get the relevant documents underneath each section. And one thing I definitely want to call out for you is, again, that county-specific, California-specific coverage. So if I open up the local probate litigation rules section, what you see here is a bunch of county-specific how-to guides. And since we're all in Northern California, let's go ahead and look at the Alameda County how-to guide. We did our best whenever possible to work with sitting judges to put together these county level and district court level guidance. So you can see it's written by CEB and a sitting judge, and there are links to important court documents, the local probate rules, and then as you scroll, you can see you get everybody's favorite practice notes, cautionary notes, and then my favorite, examples and the judge's perspective, so that you can always be sure that you're not missing a procedural step and that you're not inadvertently annoying the judge and disadvantaging your client. And when you think back to the personas of the users that we had in mind, those solo and small firm attorneys and those new attorneys, you can see how information and content like this and having content organized like this starts to make a lot of sense. Even if you are a very experienced practitioner, we all need refreshers and we all need reminders. Unless you have an eidetic memory, you're going to need to continue to look stuff up. But again, not enough hours in the day and efficiency. So how can you get all of the pertinent information in one place so that you spend less time working on it? If you're experienced, you just need a quick refresher, or if it's a brand new area for you or something you've never done, you need more than a quick refresher. How can you do that efficiently? And then for new attorneys, it's all about having an actual roadmap of what should I think about? Don't make me guess. Just tell me, what should I think about? What are the steps? How can I start to figure this out and become an effective lawyer? Because it takes time to get there. And just to give you another glimpse of this, because trust and probate law is fairly specific, let's take a look at law in motion in LA County, because even though we're in Northern California, I used to have a ton of cases in Los Angeles. So let's just say motion practice Los Angeles. And we get this how to navigate law in motion procedures. That looks like the result I want. Again, you get written by local judges, and you get all of those incredibly useful links and judges' perspectives and invaluable information, all consolidated in one useful place. I will say it was really interesting to work with the judges in putting this together. A lot of them were really excited about this project from the perspective that it helps them. And they were really excited about the idea of having clear, consolidated guidance so that they would see fewer errors and they would run across fewer problems in their filings in their court. The other thing I would like to do is talk a little bit about the other non-practical guidance or resources here. So the kind of the current awareness, because we talked about needing that legal news and keeping up to date, and we still want those secondary sources and we still want that primary law. So included in your practitioner subscription, you do get on the homepage, you get access to really great law alerts and current awareness and legal news articles in different practice areas covering the latest developments that are important to California lawyers. You also get primary law, including cases and statutes, and the case law includes a case law citator. So let me just do an employment law search. And you see that citator information. I can limit it to published cases only. I can limit it to the first district only if that's where I wanna, if that's what I wanna focus on. You can also limit it by cause of action which is my personal favorite because you're always doing research for emotion in the context of the cause of action you're working on. Procedural posture, what type of motion, and a lot of other really useful filters. And then with a click here, you obviously get the information you're accustomed to seeing when it comes to case law research tools and citators. Is why is that flag there? There's a caution flag because this case was distinguished by rake straw. You can see how many other cases have cited to this case. You can see how active it was and when it was last cited, not too recently. Really great information. And then when you click into the case, you get a really nice, clean, readable view. You can skip again to the right portion of the case. You get the expected resources like copy with cite. You can either pick California style manual or standard Blue Book style, put it on your clipboard very easily. So, but all of this is fully integrated. So anytime there's a link in a secondary source or a practitioner document into primary law and vice versa, everything's fully integrated. And then in secondary sources, I know many of you are very familiar with CEB's titles, are approximately 140 California practice guides. So same thing here. You get your results and you can go from there. And you can limit your results by resource type or by practice area when you're looking at too many. So this was really, again, our attempt at putting all of the pieces together. And because over and over again, what we kept hearing was, I want things all in one place. I want it clean. I want it easy to use. I'm after efficiency. I want that long form secondary sources content, but I also want the practical content. I want county level guidance. I want you to stop making me guess. Just tell me how to do things. Help save me time so I can be more efficient. And so I can bring on more clients and have more time for billable hours in my day. Very understandable asks, but you can hopefully kind of see how the research ended up translating into the ultimate product and how we structured things the way that we did. So that everything was very easily accessible by just tabbing over to the resources that you needed, and for having all of the cross references and the links back and forth that you would expect to have so you can do things as quickly as possible. And with that, I know we went through that fairly quickly, but I am more than happy to, more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And if possible, give people a little bit of their time back. But let me check the chat and see if there are any questions. If you have any other questions, please put them in there. Happy to answer them.
Stephanie, this is Kristen. I had a question just to start. This practitioner seems like a really exciting product. And I'm wondering if there are plans to make it available to academic law libraries and student accounts.
So yes is the answer. We are working on that right now. We already give students and academic libraries and staff access to a host of other CEB stuff, but I'm in the process with working with our outreach manager on making sure that practitioner is included. So we haven't figured out exactly what that'll look like, but we're working on it.
Great. It looks like we do have a question on chat, and I can go ahead and read it out to you. This is from Teresa Kim. Her question: my firm subscribes to CEB on law. Will practitioner be a part of that subscription?
So No, is the answer to that. What we've the direction we've kind of gone in is a tiered subscription. And so there's an awful lot of people out there who know and love our classic OnLaw tool. And even though we have kind of somewhat tried to integrate that into the new platform, that really is our classic secondary sources solution. We also now have kind of other tiers, which is OnLaw Pro and then Practitioner, that offer you kind of different tiers of access to different content. So there aren't any plans to include Practitioner specifically in the OnLaw subscription, but what Practitioner really is our all-inclusive subscription that has the practical guidance information, a upgraded experience in the secondary sources, and a full primary law experience along with that current awareness content. So I see another question in the chat from John about asking, are the keyword search capabilities and results views across the secondary sources more enhanced than they are in OnLaw? Yes. In the new platform, for if you have access to secondary sources in the new platform, there is that support for a really robust natural language search, as well as Boolean terms and connectors. There's type ahead search assistance, and an upgraded interface. That being said, a lot of people really know and love OnLaw and don't want to move from it. As I'm sure you're all very aware, and as I've experienced, sometimes it's hard to budge attorneys and other legal professionals from what they're used to, because they love it, because they're efficient in it, because they know it. So we did consciously make an effort to not mess too much with the OnLaw experience, because a lot of people really like it the way it is. Another question, will Practitioner be available to county law libraries? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. We really did start and design this product for solo and small firm attorneys and for new attorneys. We had that demographic in mind. So we've started there and have not figured out kind of next steps and next phases. If that changes, we will be happy to let you know as soon as it does. But right now we're still figuring out kind of next steps. Currently, we're focused more on building out additional content within the platform. That's going to be my focus probably for the next 6 to 8 months. Any other questions? Well, if there's not,
yeah, we'll give you another minute or so to put your questions in.
Well, in the meantime, you've got my contact information up on the screen. Feel free to email me. There's the CEB website. I'm easy to find on Twitter. I'm also very easy to find on LinkedIn, and I'm always more than happy to answer any questions or talk to people. If something occurs to you later on, please email me. Happy to continue the conversation.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie. Like I said, it sounds like a very exciting direction and product. I think it's about time for our drawing. So I think this is how it's going to work. Delia has a list of all attendees, and I believe each attendee is assigned a number. Maybe Delia can let me know what the total number is.
So we have, I'm trying to decide how nice I want to be honest, because we have a Mr. iPhone or Mrs. iPhone hanging out and a Mr. EB or Mrs. EB hanging out. So I'm trying to decide whether to include him or not. I think I'll be nice and include him in this one. So there's actually 31 people, but Martin, Lloyd, Stephanie, sorry, you guys are vendors. I'm going to exclude you from this.
Sounds fair.
Okay, great. So we have our number is 31. So first we have two.
Actually, I'm sorry. The number is 29.
29. Okay, so we're going to start off. I believe we have, Stephanie, you can correct me, two $25 gift cards. And what are the gift cards for?
I'm going to reach out to everybody after the fact, which is why I needed the full name. I'm going to reach out to you guys via email and ask you, what do you want it? Do you want a Phil's gift card? Do you want an Amazon gift card? It'll be up to you. So
Wow.
we're just going to do the amount right now.
Okay, so even better, this is the gift card of your choice. Okay, so we're going to start off with two $25 gift cards, and we're going to ask Stephanie to pick a number between, or two numbers between 1 and 29.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go with 3 and 13.
So that would be Ann Bernardo and Maribel Nash.
Okay, and you have to be present to win. So shout out that you got your card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Okay, next we have two $50 gift cards. So Stephanie, if you could choose two more numbers, different numbers than the ones you chose before, between 1 and 29.
Let's go with 9 and 27.
So that would be Deanne Dyer and Ramona Collins.
Yay. Okay. And then finally, we have a $100 gift card. So Stephanie, do you want to go ahead and choose one more number?
All right, let's go with 21.
Andrea, and I believe it's Andrea Woods. She didn't put in her last name. Andrea, are you there?
It looks like she just raised
Raise
her
your
hand.
It is Andrea Woods, because I do need the last name to send the email.
Andrea, yep, there we go, Andrea Woods. Congratulations, Andrea.
For the record, the way, just so you guys know, I'm not making this up. I was going to use this really cool wheel, but it kept breaking on me. The way the names were selected, I did sort the names. It's not alphabetical. It was sorted first by when the date and hour and minute that you registered for the event, and then when you enter the room, and then by name. So there's like 4 different sortings going on. So it's a nice shuffle of cards like our magician did last night. Okay, so we are gonna end this meeting now. Unfortunately, thank you very much, Stephanie, who by the way is my former coworker and I love her to pieces. And she is like the best baker ever. She
Thank
is.
you, Delia.
So as I mentioned earlier today, we unfortunately had to cancel the 1 p.m. session, which is Andrew Chan's Court and Library Partnerships. He had a personal emergency, he had to bow out. We do hope to schedule that down the line for NOCAL members, and I will send, just realized I don't have my video on.